Hello, everyone. My name is Dana Schmidt-Johnson. I'm the community manager of the Ritual Society and the House Astrologer. One of the exciting new twists we have for you in 2024 is that some of our society members have come forward to offer their expertise and unique practices to our community to share them with all of us. So the Leo and me could not be more excited for what we have coming up in March, where we will be role-playing the tarot. How fun does that sound? So society member and game master Linda Petrocchi will be hosting this tabletop role-playing game through Zoom and letting us all in on a fun way to get to know the cards. Please welcome Linda to the table. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Dana. I'm super excited to be here and be able to share this with the society. It's something I really enjoy doing.
Oh, and it sounds so neat and fun and interesting. So just to get us started here, describe this game to us. What are we getting ourselves into?
Okay. So first of all, I just want to say that as an educator, I teach piano. That's besides the point. But I believe very much that we learn through play, we learn through improvisation. And I think that this particular game gives anybody, no matter how new or experienced they are with tarot, the opportunity to really play around with the cards and understand them on a new level. So basically, if you've ever done any role playing at all, whether that's, dressing up and running through the woods, doing LARP, which I've done, it's super fun, or you've played Dungeons and Dragons, or any kind of game where you're pretending to be somebody else than you are in your regular mundane life, then you've got some experience with this. So basically what you're doing with this game, it's easiest for people to understand if they've ever played Dungeons and Dragons, but you are assuming a role of a fictional character, and then you are thrust into some kind of a situation where there's going to be a conflict or some act of aggression or a puzzle. Even an escape room is a good way to think about this because you're trying to make your way through some kind of difficult situation. And the way you're playing as a player, you're going to take a court card and you're going to become that court card. So if you've done, like we've had exercises in the society where you take a card and you journal, you imagine yourself in that card, you imagine yourself doing that thing. So it's kind of like that. So let's take an example. Let's say, the Knight of Cups, who I kind of think of as the love bomb person in the court cards. So maybe you pull the Knight of Cups. That's going to be your character. So you're going to play a character. So gender's not important. Age is not important. What you're trying to capture is the essence of who that court card is. And that's the personality you're going to try to bring to the table. Does that make sense?
It totally does. I'm thinking like murder mystery style in my head, right?
Yes. Yeah,
That's
yeah. If
the
you've done
idea I
those,
have.
absolutely. If you've done the murder mystery and you're the person with the candlestick, whatever. It's a thing like that. So,
So
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, so you said you don't have to have any knowledge of the tarot to come into this, but you're gonna become one of these court cards. How does that
Right.
work together?
Okay. So happily, if you've got your planner, then you have your keywords for all the cards, right? So you're going to start there. The other thing is, if you want to play and if you want to be one of the main players, I'm going to reach out to you in advance, and you're going to pull your card. You get to decide for yourself. I recommend you pull it at random and get a surprise, but I have played with people who deliberately said, no, I'm going to be the Queen of Swords. I'm going to analyze the heck out of this thing. Um, but I suggest you just go for it, take a chance. And I will be able to work with you in advance if you're confused about what to do, but I don't think you're going to, because you're going to pick a deck. You're going to take your deck, you're going to separate it into three sections. You're going to have the major arcana cards, and you can use your planner guide words and everything to help you figure this out if you don't know. You're going to have your court cards in a separate pile, and then you have your minor arcana cards in a separate pile. And when you create your character, you're going to pull a court card. That's your main personality. Then you're going to pull a few minor arcana cards that's going to inform how that personality is acting in this particular situation or environment. So you may pull, let's say you pull a 5 of Wands as your minor arcana card, and you're still this Knight of Cups. So you're very enthusiastic, you're loving, you think everything's going to be great, whatever. But you pull this 5 of Wands. So maybe you're going to be feeling a little feisty that day. Maybe you're going to pick a fight or, disagree with people just because whatever you're feeling it that day. So you get to nuance your character by pulling minor arcana cards. And that you get to do in advance, and you have a chance to write it all out. So that's why I'm saying you don't actually have to know the tarot backwards and forwards to play this game, because you're going to have a chance. Look at the keywords in your planner, and every deck comes with a guidebook, so you can use your guidebook to study, because you're only going to need to sort of master a handful of cards to play this game.
Well, that makes it a heck of a lot easier than all 78 for sure. I'm actually surprised that you don't use the major cards as the characters. Why is that?
The major cards, so think about the structure of the tarot. So your major arcana, those are those big events. Those are the things that are larger than just you as an individual, right? The tower, that's not me. I mean, it could be, but the tower is something big that happens. It's, so your major arcana cards, I'm going to be using those to develop the storyline. Right, so I'm going to set the stage for something to happen. Everybody's going to come in, they're going to introduce themselves, they're going to, you get to make up your character name, you're going to hold up your card so everybody who's watching and playing sees who you're trying to, embody. And then I'm going to start pulling major arcana cards to advance the story. So a lot of this is very improvisational, because the players are going to interact with each other. So, your Knight of Cups may be interacting with, I don't know, let's just say, the King of Pentacles, who would really like those two energies. That could be kind of an interesting thing to see happen. And that's up to the players to interact with each other, because it's not just going to be me telling everybody what to do. The players are going to interact with each other as well.
Oh, this is so cool. I'm so excited to see how this evolves. It sounds like these characters are going to come to the table, go through different choices together. But it does seem like it needs to be a bit of a smaller group. So we're going to reach out to people, kind of have an open call for people who want to play. And then everyone else gets to kind of be on the sidelines. Can you explain that a little bit? How that piece of the puzzle works?
Absolutely. So not everybody really wants to be on camera, right? We Leos understand. but not everybody really wants to do that. But we all like to play. Everybody likes to play. And so you can, but if you don't want to be off camera, there are two real ways you can play. You can participate actively in the chat. So you're going to see the main players interacting with each other and responding to the prompts that I give them as the story evolves. The chat is really important, because the people in the chat are going to be commenting on what the players are doing. They're going to be making suggestions. So, for example, let's say that our Knight of Cups is being very enthusiastic about something. The King of Pentacles is saying, let's settle, everybody, hang on, I got this. And maybe somebody in the chat says something like, hey, Knight of Cups, don't let the King of Pentacles push you around. Stand your ground. And that may influence how the Knight of Cups character behaves at that point. So there is a real role just to participate in the chat and not do anything specific. But then there are specific roles that you can play. And again, I'd ask you to volunteer ahead of time so I can help you with your character if you need it. And those are, you have the opportunity to be a retainer. So let's say that the King of Cups or the King of Pentacles in our fictional scenario, he doesn't want to run around and do stuff. He's the king, please. But he needs some information, or he needs somebody to go fetch his spell book or something. So the King of Cups will say, can I have a retainer to go up to the tower and fetch my spell book? If you are wanting to be a retainer, at that point you can volunteer and say, I would like to be the King of Pentacles retainer. I want to go get the spell book. So that person who's a retainer, they've also pulled a court card. Let's say that they're a page. That would be appropriate for them to volunteer. If they're the Page of Pentacles, they're going to very slowly go get that spell book. And they're going to, at that point, once they volunteer, they're going to pull a minor card, a minor arcana card. And that minor arcana card is going to influence what happens when they go get that spell book. And that's up to them to tell that part of the story. And they'll do it not on camera, they'll do it in the chat. So if you volunteer to be a retainer, I ask that you definitely be able, from the time you volunteer to do something, don't leave. You need to stay for at least half an hour. I know sometimes people like to dip in and out, but that won't work if you're going to be a retainer. You need to stick around, because it may take 10 or 15 minutes for us to get back to you to say, okay, so what happened? So what that Page of Pentacles pulled as a retainer is going to say, that's going to tell us whether they were successful. Maybe they didn't find the spell book. Maybe they did find the spell book. Maybe they ran into the Seven of Swords on their way to get the spell book. Well, there's going to be a story there, right? Maybe did somebody steal it? So whatever minor card you pull, that's going to influence the part of the story that the retainer tells. So there's definitely a role for people who don't want to be on camera but do want to play.
Oh, this is fascinating. I think we're going to get a lot of people who are volunteering on both sides. And hey, if you just want to come and sit in and watch and hang out, you are absolutely more than welcome to do that. Of course, we will have a recording as well, so that'll be fun to watch too. Oh my gosh. How long have you been doing this, Linda? This is such a unique thing. How long have you been playing, and how long have you been a game master?
Well, I've been role playing for years. I just like to improvise. I love doing Let's Pretend. And anybody who's had a child, you're role playing. That's right. So if I counted for when my child was a baby, then I've been role playing for over 20 years, right? But being a game master is pretty new to me. I just started it this past summer, ran a couple games and had a lot of fun with it. So one of them I ran was really a D&D game. And then the other one I ran was sort of a hybrid of D&D and tarot, tarot role playing. So we kind of combined the two. But this one would be a straight ahead role playing the tarot, no D&D mechanics. And I play D&D every week, and I actually use tarot while I'm playing D&D. I pull cards as I'm playing to help me develop my character's backstory, to decide how I'm going to behave in any particular situation. And I really enjoy it. It adds a layer of depth for me to game playing, to pull the tarot in. But I've played role playing the tarot. I think I played as a player 3 games. Yeah, and one of them is online that you can watch. The other 2 were private, so they're not available for other people to watch.
Yeah, we'll definitely put a link there so people can watch that as well. So look in the comments section for that. Um, Linda, I'm so excited. This sounds like so much fun and such a great way to really learn a different way of thinking about the cards. I know we talk about the cards as if, you know, it's often referred to as the fool's journey, right? So this is almost like you get to play the fool and go through the fool's journey along the way.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent way of thinking about it because all of these role playing games ultimately they're quests, they are journeys somehow. This one will be a pretty short journey. This will be what we call a one shot. So it will be self contained. We'll have a beginning, middle, and end. But yeah, some people just, it's a campaign. You do it and you do it, you do it, but not this one. This will be a one shot. So it should be very satisfying.
Oh, yes. I love that. We'll get the whole story all in one evening or afternoon. And it's going to be a great time. Thank you so much for being here, Linda. We're thrilled to have you as our March guest teacher in the Ritual Society, teacher, game master, whatever you want to call it, to role play the tarot. And in the meantime, where can people find you? Obviously, you're in the society, so they can reach out to you that way. Are there other ways that we can get in touch with you?
Right. So if you want to contact me, probably direct messaging me in the society is the easiest way because then I'll know exactly who you are, why you're contacting me, probably. But I do have a TarotTube channel and an Instagram, and it's Clementia's Creative Cartomancy. And I chose Clementia. I love games because it was a gamer name that I made up when I was playing some online games. I don't know, maybe over a dozen years ago, and I just liked the name. So now it's my tarot name too, and it's kind of appropriate because it pulls in that for me. It pulls in that playful aspect that I like to keep. Um, yeah. So
Amazing. Well, we'll definitely put that in the comments as well. So check out a little more about Linda. And in the meantime, let us know in the comments for the event if you want to play the game so we can get in touch. And we will see you guys in March. Thanks so much, Linda. Looking forward to it.
thanks. We're gonna have fun.
Yes, we are.
Bye bye.